Cool. The big kahuna, grant writing. Tell me everything about... No.
Oh.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that literally. Series of questions about grant writing. First of all, what kinds of grants do you do generally? Or are there a wide range? Do you do the private foundation grants? You do the government grants? Or both, or neither, or...
I haven't had a lot of experience with them here because I've only been here since December, and I've been involved in a couple of really big events. But what I've... there are a lot of foundation grants out there. The most important thing for me is finding the right fit. And I think you can read a lot of grant descriptions, and if you have even the slightest doubt about is this a good fit, it probably isn't. You just have to slip into that spot where this is perfect, this is us, this is exactly what we do, to even make it worth applying
worth your time to
for.
write, sure.
Right. And then, to me, the most important part is to really put your heart and your soul into it and make it interesting. Show some passion for what you're doing, because if you can't convince them that you're passionate about doing it, how can you expect them to get excited about it too? So, don't be afraid to maybe gush just a little bit, because they want to make sure that you're excited about the project enough to follow through.
Yeah. Do you generally contact foundations before you submit to them?
That's the general practice these days, is to call ahead, contact them ahead of time, and to partner with them in that way, so that you're not just sending in loose paperwork.
Sure. So how does that conversation go?
The first call is usually kind of a light, hi, this is Lori at the food bank. We saw this grant. I'd like to find out some information. What do you suggest I do? Do you think this would be a good fit for us? And just kind of a light conversation about it to get more information.
Okay. So, and by the way, I tell all my students that's I interview a lot of grant writers. That's like the number one bit of advice I get is call them. Talk to them.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have a hard time convincing people to do that. They think, ooh, that'd be able to send off like an arrow, and maybe...
Yeah, it's intimidating.
It is hard.
Because it's hard to call a stranger and ask them for something. But that's what their job is. Their job is to give you more information, to help you figure out if that's a good fit for you, and a good fit for them, too. So I think just establishing that relationship, you know how when you've maybe dealt with somebody on the phone a number of times, and then you finally meet them in person, you just have that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing where you're talking to these people on the phone, and now you're going to submit all this stuff straight from your soul to them.
Sure.
And you feel like you're talking to a friend then, instead of dealing with strangers.
All right, great. So you've made that initial contact. You've gotten a positive that, you ought to submit. What's your process from there?
A lot of research. And I really sit down and try to figure out exactly what are they asking for. And then do my research about my own organization to make sure I'm presenting the best information to answer their wants. If you aren't talking their language and providing the information they're asking for, then you might as well forget it. They want details. They want to see what you've done. They want to see how you're going to do this. Whatever they're asking, they want to know how you're going to pull this off in the future and make sure that they're putting their money in a good place.
Okay.
So I try to answer every question as carefully as possible.
Okay. So, I guess, most of the foundations you submit to have like forms, or like, I'm just thinking like Beeman's or the Earl Sands Foundation, there's like a series of 28 questions you need to answer. So do you do a lot of narrative just here's a proposal that you create, format your software?
I try to. I don't want to have like a boilerplate. I want to make sure I address every question they ask as if I've never answered it before. I want to dig through my head to find the right information to answer that for this specific question.
Yeah.
So I don't just copy and paste stuff in.
Uh-huh.
But some of the forms can be pretty lengthy.
Yeah.
And when you think, okay, I'm half done, and then you click yes to a question, and you get 40 more questions that pop up. And you get through those 40, and you answer yes to another question, and 30 more questions pop up, and you find that, oh, you're only 10% of the way into it, and you're supposed to go home in a half an hour. So hey, there can be some surprises.
Yeah.
But it's just, don't get impatient. Just very methodically take each question and answer it the best you can.
Yeah. So are most of your submissions online these days?
Most of them are.
Most of them are. Yeah. I'm surprised how many still aren't. But
Yeah.
But so you've gone through. You've answered all the questions as well as you can. Do you have most of your supporting data? I guess you have always available your list of board of directors, things like that, and you submit. Cover letters, yes, no?
Depends.
Depends.
Sometimes they ask for it. Sometimes you can't.
Right.
If it's online, you don't have the option.
Yeah.
Or they may have already asked you anything they want in that up front as far as to qualify you
Yeah.
to
Yeah. To
apply.
answer these questions.
So
to be
that's
able to get
probably
your
already
grant.
done.
Yeah.
So the actual grant app is not the first document they have on you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, any particular advice about other than what you've given about an online grant?
Start early.
Start early.
Oh boy.
Start early. Yeah.
If you think you're going to do it in a day, start 2 weeks ahead. Because you're always going to run into a question that you're going to have to think about. The questions asked in grant apps aren't just how many people did you feed, or what did you feed them, or what are you going to do next year. There are things that you really have to pour your heart into. And these are long essay questions in some cases.
Yeah.
And they want to get to the heart of your organization. Numbers aren't enough. They want to get the culture of your organization. And the only way you can do that is to really pull it from your heart.
Yeah. Cool. So start early.
Way early.
Way early as well. Okay.
And never do it when you're in a rush.
Yeah. For paper grants, how is the process different?
Well, paper grants, I mean, we had to submit 7 copies in binders and ship this, and so there really aren't too many paper ones anymore, other than local organizations, really. Those are the only ones I've run into.